the election cycle where South Carolina finally drop kicks Lindsey Graham. Seems like it shouldn't be too hard. Remember the last 2 times Lindsey has appeared with Trump? The most recent time was the worst. In his own home county, gets booed by Trump supporters. That was embarrassing. So, I mean, is this guy really going to win a Republican primary in a state that boos him, even with Trump's endorsement? Here to answer that question is Noel Fritsch. He is the general consultant for the Mark Lynch for Senate campaign. So he is the general consultant for Lindsey's opponent. Good morning, Noel.
Hey, good morning, Chair. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is an interesting poll, though, this top line number, the 57%. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so this is by Pulse Opinion Research, which is a white label service for Rasmussen reports. A lot of your listeners will be familiar with Rasmussen reports, pretty widely known, reputable, very reputable survey firm out there, public opinion and research firm. And it's a huge sample. It's over 1,000 likely Republican primary voters, which sadly in the state of South Carolina includes our enemies, the commie Democrats, some portion of them, because guys like the governor, McMaster, and some of the other guys, Merle Smith over there in Columbia, like to have the Democrats come into the Republican Party primary to choose our nominees, which is how we get, serpents like Lindsey Graham. And right now he's doing his chameleon thing. He is, it's election time again. And so he is way up President Trump's behind. And so I think the folks know that. That's what this survey shows. Mark Lynch is up, the president owner of Jeff Lynch Appliances up in Greenville. He has a pretty he's pretty widely known up in the upstate. Of course, we've got some work to do getting his name around the rest of the state. But the great news is that 57% of the primary electorate in the Republican Party primary in South Carolina already is saying, I'm a no on Lindsey Graham. And that does include, there are some undecideds, and we're very confident that a lot of those are going to come to Mark Lynch. And the rest of the numbers and the polling numbers there show that just there's basically an antipathy for Lindsey Graham. People are just sick and tired of this guy.
I have a lot of trust in Rasmussen polling. They've got a really great track record, especially in recent years. And I think that it's interesting. Lindsey Graham does have Trump's endorsement, but yet 57% of primary voters don't want to vote for him. Do you think that endorsement is going to be enough to push Lindsey over? I mean, his campaign commercials now are all Trump endorse me, Trump endorse me, Trump endorse me.
Yeah, we're a year out. It's interesting. After Mark launched in February, Mr. Lynch launched his campaign. We started hearing from folks in D.C., conservative media folks, like, wow, what's going on down there? We've never seen a Lindsey campaign over a year out from a primary. And he is. He's obviously scared. He obviously knows. He must have the same polling we have, okay, because he knows he's got problems, and he's trying to shore up the Trump electorate here. Well, the good news is one of the data points from the poll shows, as Breitbart has reported, shows that the voters would much rather have, by a margin of 60% to 20%, have a successful businessman like a Mark Lynch who can doge the economy here and doge the government and really bring efficiency and accountability back to government. And, South Carolina, it's a great state to live in. And that's a double-edged sword, right? Because I know you know this, Tara. Like, everybody's like, there hasn't been too much government intrusion, but there is more than people are aware of. But the flip side of that is a lot of people are moving here, and they just aren't aware that, it's such a good life. Everybody's like, hey, this is great. It's easy for the big government stuff to creep in, and I know you've seen that over time. And so. It's really important for everybody this election cycle to let folks know about how bad Lindsey Graham is. Okay. And thankfully only, it looks like about 20% of people say that a career lawyer and career politician is the man for the job, whereas 60% say they want a successful businessman like Mark Lynch.
What is Lindsey Graham's, I think you told me, was it 43%? Does he come in at 43% of the vote? What is his actual level of support according to
Yeah,
these
so
polls.
they call this the ballot test. This is kind of like one of the crucial questions on these surveys, and these are all statistically sampled so that you have accurate geographic representation. So there's a lot of science that goes into creating these things so that they're accurate. And so it's in a head-to-head right now. You have Lindsey Graham all the way down at 43%. He's well below 50% in a head-to-head ballot test, and there's something like 28% undecided. And so we're very, and that's before people are, informed of Lindsey Graham's track record, like he just did earlier this year, voting against Doge cuts. Lindsey Graham voted against the Doge cuts before people even know that. He's only at 43%. Of course, Mark Lynch has invested mightily into his campaign effort. He's put $5 million of his retirement money where his mouth is. So he's not just talking. He's ready to go and remove this flip-flopping chameleon Lindsey. And it looks like, according to this survey, that he's well poised to do that.
Okay, yeah. So you just explained right there why Lindsey Graham is campaigning a year out. I mean, you're at 43% as a sitting senator. That's really bad with 28% not sure. I mean, that is not a vote of confidence in a state that you should have all shown up. And the fact that Lynch has put $5 million in, I didn't know there was that much firepower. He actually maybe could do some damage to Lindsey Graham.
No question about it. And that's just the start, Tara. Mark is wisely running a nationwide campaign, fundraising nationally. And so we can easily see that go, from the seven figures into the eight figures with, 10, 12, 14, $15 million for this primary. And Lindsey Graham knows that. And he's scared. There's no question he's running. He's responded to this poll already within hours of its, or an hour or two of its release.
I know Mark Lynch is known in the upstate, but he's not known statewide. How did Lynch do in this poll? What was his number? Where's he starting?
We're the baseline for Lynch before we've spent any paid advertising statewide is at 30%. So there is a gap to make up. So it's 43-29. So we're just below 30%. And again, there's 28% undecided. And so we're within striking distance. There's no question about it. And Lindsey Graham knows that. And that's why he's responded to Breitbart's requests for comment on the poll last night. And so now Mark Lynch has been barnstorming the state. He's been all over the place, Horry County, Lexington County, Richland County. He's been down in the low country a whole lot. And so the folks are ready. The folks just need to meet Mark Lynch. And once they do, it'll be obvious and evident to everyone in South Carolina that he's the guy to get rid of this flip-flopper, Lindsey.
Gonna be interesting. He's gonna, feel like I think that the Trump endorsement's going to protect him. I don't know. Mark Lynch's, this is his response. Mark Lynch's poll is fake news, a Graham campaign spokesman said. Lynch said in a statement that now is the time President Donald Trump needs politicians around him he can trust to enact MAGA agenda for the American people. So interesting. And you're right. They responded fast to that. So
yeah, it was within an hour of the poll going up. So they're clearly monitoring the situation, Tara, right? And so it's they know it's not fake news. Otherwise, they wouldn't be spending buku, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars between February, March, and April and May of 2025, over a year ahead of the primary.
It's going to be a fascinating race to watch. Noel Fritsch, thank you so much for joining us this morning on 98.9 WORD.